Welcome to this week's Ohio Tech Report. Today's special guest is Jessica Cohen from Verizon. Jessica, welcome. Thanks for being here. And if you could, just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you and the Verizon team are up to in Ohio.
Yes, thanks so much, Chris. This is really exciting. You know how much we love Ohio X and to be a part of the statewide group and all the work that you do. I'm Jessica Cohen. I'm with Verizon. I lead our community engagement efforts in Northern Ohio and Cincinnati. And there is just a ton of things happening with us. Last month, we opened two Verizon Innovative Learning Labs, one in Cleveland and one in Cincinnati. Those are both in Title I schools, and they are bringing technology, 3D printing, coding, circuitry to all sorts of to all the students in those schools. And we were glad to see that happen now that kids are actually in school so they can use the technology. And we're looking forward to the launch of our Verizon Community Forward initiative, which will open two digital learning centers here in Cleveland in early 2022. So maybe you'll have me back and we could talk more about that later on.
Absolutely. And maybe I can come up and join now that we're kind of in that world of in-person stuff.
But yes, please do.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jessica. We appreciate it. Well, today's Ohio Tech Report, we're talking a lot of exciting startup news, including some of the new hot top tech jobs to watch in the state. We're also talking about a really big raise from a new emerging tech company, and then also some really big infrastructure expansion plans from one of the big tech companies. But before we begin, we want to thank our presenting sponsor of the Ohio Tech Report, Zendesk. Zendesk was built upon a simple idea: make customer service software that's easy to use and accessible to everyone. Zendesk's customer service and engagement products are powerful and flexible and scale to meet the needs of any business. They serve businesses across hundreds of industries with more than 145,000 paid customer accounts, offering service and support over 30 plus languages. They're headquartered in San Francisco, but Zendesk operates worldwide, and you can learn more at zendesk.com. Well, Jessica, if you're ready, we'll dive right into our top stories.
Let's do it.
Cool. So story one, and this is from our friends at Purpose Jobs, but they put out their top Columbus and Cincinnati startup and tech companies to watch in 2022. And it's really cool to kind of just see it all kind of come together in one space. And I know they're probably working on a Cleveland one, but just the amount of industries, like insurtech, biotech, etc., and just the excitement. And last week we talked about this really big kind of crypto mining company that's going public via a SPAC, and not a lot of people heard about them. And so lists like these are really cool, I think, Jessica, to see the diversity of the tech companies, the startups out there, and just the kind of all that's going on with it, because it's such an incredibly exciting space. And I don't know about you, but I seem to come across a new tech company, seems like every week, which is crazy to think at this point.
Yeah, I think that, living in Ohio now for so many years, if you had asked me before living in Ohio, if I would think startup, when I thought of our state, I would have said, absolutely not. Do startups happen in the Midwest? But this is clearly proof that they do, and in a big way. And I know we're talking about another story later on with some VC investment, but I think that this is indicative of the type of support we have here in Ohio for startups, the enthusiasm, the talent, and I think, Chris, because we worked together on Ohio Tech Day that Ohio X launched, that tech talent. We want to keep kids here. We want to grow careers here, careers in tech, provide them skills and the tools that they need. And that's a lot of what we do at Verizon in terms of our corporate social responsibility work. So I'm thrilled to see the startup community growing here, because that's what we're trying to do, is grow those kids into this community.
Yeah, and not to plug Verizon too much, this was not planned, but with 5G and some of the emerging technologies that are going to let our next and new and growing tech companies and innovators, build some of these things that 5 or 10 or 15 years ago wouldn't have been possible because of the work that you all do. And I think that's that perfect example of, Ohio, as we all know, hasn't historically been thought of a startup hub, but that's changing. But also the big businesses like yours and others that are making a lot of this work happen. And so it's really cool to kind of see all of these pieces come together and really help this tech hub just keep growing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have 5G in 5 cities here in Ohio already, and it's just going to grow. And I can't wait to see what these startups do with the 5G and how they change.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy for sure. Well, we'll go into story number two.
Yeah.
This is about Google Cloud, and they revealed some worldwide global infrastructure expansion plans, but that includes a new cloud region coming to Columbus, as well as places like Dallas and stuff happening in Tel Aviv and South America, Europe, and Asia and the Middle East. But it's kind of their attempt to, help, I think, service customers in this part of the country. And as we think about where the customer base are, that's kind of the thesis of a lot of these venture capital companies that are here. But there's a lot of businesses that are in the Midwest, Ohio specifically. So it's cool to see another big tech company that isn't necessarily headquartered here or wasn't born here, but they're doing more and more work here.
Yeah. And I think, you're seeing the investment in Ohio, which is really exciting. We have a really supportive state when it comes to tech. And I think that, the cloud is all about low latency. And we see that at Verizon with our mobile edge compute. It's about bringing, that closer to the customer, getting that low latency. And, to your point about 5G, the low latency piece is a big part of that. We won't be able to have those use cases, right? Then we can think bigger now and differently if we get rid of that lag. So I'm excited for this. It makes sense to come to Ohio. Columbus, we can give a shout out to Columbus for getting this cloud. But that's exciting.
Yeah, it really is. And we'll go into our third and final story, which is a new startup. They just raised their Series A. They came out of stealth mode. It's Empora Title. And their founder comes from a background working at Root Insurance, but they've now raised $24.6 million. And that's, again, a Series A, which is massive. And so as I mentioned, a former employee of Root Insurance. They've launched this new venture aimed at digitizing the real estate title process. And as we think of startups, it takes capital. And in this case, it seems to be a lot of capital at a very early round, which is good because, as we all know, a lot of the venture funding has historically not gone to places like Ohio. But these are really, really big rounds that are going to allow these founding teams to take really big swings at big problems.
Yeah, and let's not forget that this is a woman founder.
Yeah.
And I was super excited to see that. That's something that's really core to us at Verizon, racial, gender equity, supporting diverse founders and entrepreneurs. And so I was just thrilled to see a woman kind of take an idea, take the lead, and then having this type of VC to back it up is really exciting.
Yeah, big dollar amount, which kudos to her and their team because it's not easy to raise money and to do it at that level early on. Series A is really, really impressive. So I'm looking. That's a new startup that I just learned about, and it's going to be fun following along. Well, Jessica, thanks so much for joining this week's Ohio Tech Report. If you want to kind of maybe any final parting thoughts and comments for our viewers, we'd love to have it. But again, thanks so much for everything.
Yeah, Chris, it's always great to engage with Ohio X, and we're so excited about all the tech and innovation that we're seeing in the state. And thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much. Have a great weekend, everyone. And we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.